Bismillah wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. One thing a lot of my friends ask me is why I have so many physical books, why I don't suffice with PDFs and electronic books, ebooks, etc. Here are some of the reasons why I prefer to have physical books over virtual books, although I do use virtual books here and there. The first reason is the overall feel. I personally like the way the books feel. Sometimes I enjoy disconnecting from screens and not looking at a screen for a while. It helps me, at least I feel like I get back in tune with nature. You know, the whole thing with the blue light affecting a person's sleep, etc. I don't have to worry about that if I'm reading a book, and it just feels much better for me. The second reason is reading a physical book feels closer to the way of the Salaf, the very early generations, that of the Sahaba, Tabi'un, etc. It feels very close to like kind of what they were doing. Now, someone can make an argument that the Sahaba actually learned orally. They learned by listening to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then they would memorize it. And many of the Tabi'un as well. The latter generations among the Salaf, they had perhaps manuscripts, and that's very different than books today. So you can't really compare the two. Still, to me, the great generations of Islam over 1,000 years have been using books. And in recent times, yes, we have more beautiful publications, etc. But that is still a book and it's not a screen. So I feel more connected to those individuals when I read from a book. Another reason is that when a book looks really nice, it encourages me to read more. I personally love the way some taba'at and some editions of books work, and it really makes me want to read more actually. And sometimes I find myself, if I'm reading from a PDF or I'm reading on an iPad, etc., or even a Kindle, I get tired after a while. For instance, this edition of Durusul Balagha, it looks really nice, and it encourages me at least to read more. It's I love it when it has this chamois paper, this cream colored paper, the texture of it, the feel of it, the way the words are printed. To me, it encourages me to read more. Versus something digital, I'm not really motivated by the feel and look of the book to actually get through it. Now, a counter argument is that this is completely subjective, and not everyone has this feel. For them, maybe they actually prefer the look and feel of a PDF, and that's absolutely true. I'm just giving you my reasons why I prefer a book. Another reason is that when I have physical books, I tend to care for them much more, and I develop a strong bond with those books. For instance, I have here Irshadu Tullab al-Haqa'iq of Imam al-Nawawi. This is a book on Mustalah al-Hadith or Hadith terminology, and as you can see, it's glossy, but that gloss is not the book. It's a book cover, right? So it's a book cover that I have covered it with. What I do is I purchase clear plastic table covers, and I utilize that. I cut it and I form a book cover with it. And it develops a bond with me and my personal kitab. And I don't really have that with a PDF, etc. Now, the second point that I want to highlight why I personally like physical kitabs and books is the capability of note taking. For me, note taking in a physical book is much more easier than on a PDF. I can actually fit a lot more. For instance, here is some notes that I took in class. This is a book that we studied, Tadrib Rawi, which is a book again on hadith terminology. As you can see, my notes there are, very sloppy on the side and in between the margins. However, it's there. I can always get back to it when I'm on the page. I see the relevant note. And I do know that you can take notes on an electronic device. I've seen friends of mine, they have iPads, and they can zoom in and they can write in their notes, and then it's really fine. But for me, it's just having this note physically here, knowing that I wrote it in the class when I was in front of my sheikh. It's something else. And personally, it's hard for me to write notes on an iPad and save it on the PDF. So it's easier for me. personally, note taking is easier for me in physical books. Additionally, when you have a physical book, you can really personalize it with tags and different things like that. This might not be the best example, but this is my Handswear dictionary that I had since, I don't even know, it's definitely over 10 years, but it's probably like around 12, 13 years. But all the flags on the side, when I would have difficulty finding the letters. Of course, I don't need them anymore, but I keep them in here. And just knowing that I've been through so much with this was my companion through my entire studies, and I still use it to this day. Obviously, a little bit less, but it's a daily usage for me. Personalizing the book, um, that is really important for me. Now, the next reason why I prefer to have physical books over digital books is the ease in flipping through the book. I find it quite easy for me to open up a book that's physical, go to the back, find the table of contents, be able to instantly flip to that page. And I know in PDFs you probably can, type in the page number and get there, but sometimes it's not exactly the same page because factoring in all the extra pages that are not counted, like the intro, etc. So maybe you type in page 300 and it'll take you to page 325, things like that. But here, when you have a physical book, you go instantly to that place and it's much easier to find things. Another reason why I prefer physical books is because if I have a document, if I have a PDF or something, I could lose that document. It could get deleted. But with my physical books, as long as I treat them well, as long as I don't give them out, and I've given my books out to some of my friends and have not seen them ever since, I can retain all of my notes, I can retain all of my books, etc., and I'm not afraid of losing them because they're not a document. Now, the counter argument to this is that documents and computer files are copyable. You can make duplicates, you can make them 50 times, you can put it in different folders and drives and have backups. So in reality, it would be a better way to preserve. That's a counter argument. I like to appease myself and say that no, I am preserving my books better this way. And the last reason is the real reason why I prefer physical books over digital books, and that is it makes me happy. It's my preference. I prefer to have the book. I'm just a person that likes to sit far away. I know you can sit somewhere with an iPad, but I like the feel of the book. I like the touch and actually engage with the actual pages itself, write on it, personalize it. That's just my preference. And in reality, the conclusion and the crux of the matter is it doesn't matter. As long as you're reading, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the first verse in the Quran, Iqra, read. So you and I just need to start reading. We need to gain the knowledge that is found in the books and put it into practice. If someone is doing that, then they have gotten the purpose behind reading. Whether it's in a physical book or in a PDF or in a document, or if it's written on a wall, at the end of the day, if you're able to retrieve that information, store it in your mind, put it into practice, share it with others, that is what really matters. So I hope this has been beneficial and displayed to you at least why I prefer physical books. جزاك الله خيرا. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.